Good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Dad Can We Talk. As always, I am your host, Gabe Dorsey. Happy to have you with me today for another episode. Thank you for tuning in. Please take a moment to like and share this episode. For those who will watch it later, or for those who are watching it now. Um, I had something I was gonna say and I forgot. Anyway. I'm very glad to see everybody back again. Last week, I had to take care of some stuff because I wear glasses, and glasses appointments are not cheap, and they're not free. You can only miss but so many before things get weird. Anyway, today I really wanted to talk about something that really just it's been on my mind a lot lately, and it keeps coming up, and I know that when something keeps coming up that you should pay attention to it, that you should speak on it, that you should talk about it, because it keeps coming up for a reason you know I'm not one to ignore something. I'm not one to pretend something's not there. I'm not one to act like it's not happening. When you keep seeing some or hearing something or seeing something over and over again. So with that said, I wanted to talk about today. It's very simple. It's one question. How much do you love yourself? You don't have to answer it right away. You don't got to You can take some time to think about it. But that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how much do you love yourself? I was having a conversation with my god sister today, and we began talking about, what we did in our relationships, like how we functioned in our relationships. And in talking to her, and like I said, I'm not the person to ignore something if it comes up time and time again, because this is also a conversation I had with my aunt on last week. And she asked me, she said, is this another episode of Dad Can We Talk? And I said, I don't know. I don't know, but this is a conversation that kept coming up, that I kept having with different people. And again, I'm not a person to ignore when I hear something over and over again, or when I see something over and over again. But as I was talking to my god sister, I expressed to her my own revelations about myself. And what I told her was that I have a habit of, when I'm dating somebody, when I'm dating somebody or I'm in a relationship, I have a habit of going all out and above, just going above and beyond, not because I want that person to know that I love them, but because I want that person to love me. That in my mind, and I'm not saying anything to you that I'm uncomfortable talking about, or that I wouldn't want to talk about. I'm being very honest. In my mind, right, because of the fact that there was love missing in my childhood, right, and this is something I've spoken about before. Because the fact that there was love missing in my childhood, I went looking for love in places that I had no business looking for it. And because of certain things occurring in my childhood, I put up with stuff in the name of what I thought was love. But what I'm here to tell you today is, love is not about how much you can get beat down. It's not about how much you can take, or how much you can let people walk all over you, or how much you can let people mistreat you and abuse you, and that's not love. Now, for me personally, I was operating from a place of, I thought that was the only way to get people to love you. Like, it's how much you do for them, how much you take care of them, how much you're there for them. In my mind, because of what I had been through in my childhood, that was the only way to get love. And in reality, all I did was hem myself up. That's all I did was cause myself more hurt than progress, because the truth is, anytime you don't speak your mind when something's bothering you, you're hurting yourself. Anytime that you don't say what you're really feeling, you say what you think people want to hear, or you say what appeases people, you're hurting yourself. Anytime that you rationalize people mistreating you and doing you wrong, you're hurting yourself. That's the bottom line. Anytime that you do any of those things, you're hurting yourself, right? That's all you're doing, is making things harder for you. And that's a lesson that I had to learn. That's a lesson that I had to learn. Love is not about how many times you can let people walk all over you and still care about them. That's not what it's about. But again, going back to myself, I put myself in so many situations, and I'll be very honest. Anytime somebody showed me the slightest interest, the slightest affection, they paid me the slightest attention, they made me feel wanted, they made me, feel welcome. There I was, again, going above and beyond for this person, because I don't want them to lose that interest in me, right? I don't want them to lose that affection for me. I don't want to be made to feel unwelcome by them. I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to be left. I didn't know how to be alone with myself, right? I didn't know how to be by myself and just spend time with Gabriel. I didn't know how to do that. I'm gonna be very honest. I didn't know how to be just comfortable sitting with myself. I didn't love myself. Truth be told, I really didn't even like myself. I didn't. I didn't. It took me so long to get comfortable with the man in the mirror. I didn't like the way I looked. I thought I was too fat. I thought I was this, that, and the third. I didn't like, I didn't like myself, and therefore I did not love myself. And because I did not love myself, I was really, I put up with a lot in the name of what I thought was love. I let people use me because I thought they loved me, because I was so desperate to have somebody love me, because I didn't like myself. I didn't want to be alone with me. I didn't like myself. And in the name of what I thought love was, and don't, please don't mistake me for what I'm saying, that I didn't grow up in a family that was full of love. I didn't grow up, surrounded by people that love me. That's not the case, because there's only individually, right? What we get into by ourselves is something totally different from when we're around our family, right? And I said earlier in this episode that there were things there was love that I missed in my childhood, right? There was love that I missed in my childhood. And because sometimes as a child, I felt like the only way that people love me was when I did things for them, right? I never wanted to make anybody mad. I never wanted anybody to be upset with me. I never wanted to say something I thought, oh, this person's not going to love me anymore. This person's not like, with my father, with my mother, with my second dad. I never wanted, like, I hated it. I hated it. And I grew up internalizing all of that, right? I grew up like making all of that a part of my personality, making all of that a part of who I was. And so I went, what I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know how to just love Gabriel. I didn't. I didn't know how to spend time with myself. I didn't know how to build a relationship with myself. I didn't know that I could be my own best friend, right? Because there's a difference between being alone and being lonely, right? There's a everybody, I'm at a place now where I don't mind spending time with myself. I don't mind being alone by myself. Do I get lonely? Yeah. But just because you get lonely doesn't mean you should go backwards, right? It doesn't mean just because you get lonely doesn't mean you should go backwards. I've gone backwards a few times. I've gone back to people that I know do not have my best interests at heart, do not want what's best for me. They only want what they can get out of me, and then they're done with me. Because, see, and I got no problem being honest. See, I would do so much for people, for the women that I was in relationships with, right? I would do so much. And I didn't see it at first, but as long as I was doing everything they wanted me to do, and this is, and not just in my intimate relationships, but even in some friendships, right? As long as I was doing everything that my friend wanted me to do or my girlfriend wanted me to do, everything was great. And then there came the one time I couldn't do it. And then all of a sudden, I'm the worst person in the world. I'm the, like, I watch people's attitudes towards me shift so much. Like, I watch them change so much because this one time I said no, or I can't do it. And then it basically was like, well, what are you here for if you can't do what and and again, being honest, because I so desperately wanted these people to like me, or I so desperately wanted that girl to like me, or I wanted this person to be my friend, I rationalized their behavior. Like, I made it feel like, okay, they're just mad at me right now, but I'm sure this is, it's not gonna be, it's not gonna last. They're just gonna be mad right now. It's whatever. And I rationalized the way they treated me. I messed up. I could have did this, or I could have did that. And the truth is, there is nothing that I could have done. There is nothing. But because I wanted to be liked, I wanted to be loved, I wanted to be accepted, I tolerated all of that stuff. I tolerated all of that. I dealt with it. I put up with it. And I got nothing. I have nothing to show for that. Okay. I'm gonna be very honest. For all of my not wanting to tell people no, for all of my not wanting to hurt people's feelings, for all of my feeling like, okay, if I do this, I'm gonna mess up the friendship, or I'm gonna mess up our relationship. All I did was hurt myself. That's all that leads to, is just hurting yourself. I'm just now getting to a place where I realize that the most important person in the equation is me. How much, which is why my question for anybody watching is, how much do you love yourself? How much do you love yourself? Because I did not love myself at all. I didn't I didn't like me. I didn't love me. I didn't want nothing to do with me. There was nothing about myself that I cared for. And it led me to a place where all I was doing was hurting myself. That's all you will be surprised what you will tolerate when you're looking for what you think is love. Y'all know the Bible verse, love is patient, love is kind. I don't gotta say it. Y'all know the verse I'm talking about. And I wasn't looking for that kind of love. I told you. I was at a place where anybody that showed, that was kind to me, was nice to me, was, they wanted to spend time with me. I took it as, oh, this is great. Like, this is what I've been looking for, not realizing that people, and there's no way to, well, there is a way to know, But I didn't know at that time. I really just wanted anybody to love me because I couldn't love myself. And again, the things that I put up with, like I let, oh man, I'm really gonna go here. Okay. Oof. I'm sorry. Just give me a second. Oh, I have, man, I tell you, the amount of money I've spent, the gifts I've bought, the I the things that you let people, and this seems like everyday stuff to y'all, like this is like everyday stuff, but you don't realize looking back how big it really was. You let people borrow your car, you give people money, you buy gifts, presents. I mean, Valentine's days, birthdays, you really go above, and because that's just me. You got to understand, that's the example I have had my whole life. That is how I was raised. And because I didn't, my 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 problem, like I didn't give people access to me little by little because I was raised, that's just how I was raised. If when I say you're my friend, or when I say I love you, I mean that. I got a big heart, and I go all out with it. I was raised in a family that was like, go big or go home. Like, we don't do nothing small. Like, we don't do nothing small. We don't do nothing miniature. It's no, we do it big all the time. And that's what I know. That's who I am. Right. Like, I watch my parents, I watched them take in people. I watched them help people. Like my mom, my dad, they will give people the shirt off their back if they need that. Like, that's what my family is. Okay, that's my uncles, my grandmother, my aunts. Like, that's just how I was raised. You do it all the way, or you don't do it at all. And as a result, what happened to me was that I got taken advantage of a lot. I got taken advantage of so much, because and I couldn't see it, because again, I'm looking for this what I think is love, not what love actually is, but what I thought was love. And oh man, I've been through some heartbreak. I'm gonna be very honest with y'all. And I don't um there's really no right way to say this. There's really no good way that I can say this, or that I can I can't sugarcoat this, or just not be honest about it. My oh man, my last relationship, right? I'm gonna be very, very transparent here. My last relationship, I was so very, the young lady I was with, I loved her. I loved her so, like I loved her so much. And we had a conversation, and um she told me that she was going to stick with the guy that she had been dealing with. And I'm not going to put her on Front Street like that. I'm not going to blast her like that. But it hurt me so, because of everything she had told me about this dude, right? Was like, how is he worth staying with? How is he worth staying with? and my self-esteem was jacked up for a while because I just felt like, again, because I didn't know how to love myself, I felt like she picked that guy over me, and I was messed up for a while about it because I didn't understand. But what I'm telling you today is you cannot make anybody love you. You cannot make anybody love you. You can't make them love you. You can't make them like you. You can't. It's not possible. You have to love yourself. You have to love yourself enough to know when it is time for you to step out of a friendship, when it's time for you to step out of a relationship, when it is time for you to let people go. You have to love yourself. How much do you love yourself? How much do you love yourself? Because don't tell me you love yourself if you're still with somebody or you're still dealing with somebody that's abusive towards you. Don't tell me you love yourself if you're still allowing people to walk all over you and not speaking up for yourself. Don't tell me you love yourself if you're afraid of what'll happen if you say no to this friend or say no to your boyfriend or say no to your girlfriend. Don't tell me you love yourself. You have to love yourself enough to learn to walk away from things. You have to love yourself enough to know that this is not good for me. I can't keep putting myself through because I got to a point where I realized I looked back on everything and was like, I can't keep doing this to myself because how I felt afterwards was horrible. I felt horrible afterwards. Like just like I was depressed. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I didn't want to deal with nobody. I didn't want anything to do with anything. I was just so messed up because I looked for her to love me. And she told me she basically, I didn't go into detail about the conversation, but she basically was like, I don't like, and we had been together for some time, right? Like we had been together for some time. So it wasn't just a random like, oh well, no, she looked me in the eye and was like, no. And because I was so hurt, I was so messed up about it. I was so I it like it messed me up so much because I was looking for her to love me. I was looking for that to come from her. But before, and not that with the right person you can learn to love yourself, but if you don't go looking for the right person, don't go trying every relationship or trying every friendship. You have to learn to love yourself. It's been 20, I'm 23 years old, right? I'm 23 years old. It took me 23 years of my life to learn to love Gabriel, and it's not an overnight thing. There are still some days I wake up and I look in the mirror and my first reaction is, I'm not feeling it today. But you have to fight through that. There are some days where I wake up and I don't feel like it. I don't want to deal with nothing. But because I promise you, I am committed. I am committed. I am committed to loving myself. So I ask you again today, how much do you love yourself? You have to love yourself enough to know that, first of all, you are worth love, proper love. You know, the love that's kind, the y'all know the verse. You are worth that love. That's number one. And number two, you owe it to yourself to love yourself. You only got one life. Why spend it hating yourself? Why spend it hating yourself? You only got one life. It's only one you. It's only one me. It's only and I refused to spend however long I got left on this earth not loving myself, man. Before I'm anybody else's best friend, I'm my own best friend. Before I need anybody else to love me, I love me. It's a hard road to self-love, but you have to start somewhere. Whether you start taking yourself out, whether you start spending I had to get to know me. And I thought I knew myself pretty well, but I'm still getting to know me. So all I'm telling you today is if you do nothing else, it don't, because self-love is a journey no matter what age you are. If you do nothing else today, start loving yourself. Start loving yourself. You owe that much to yourself to start loving you. Don't wait for nobody to do it for you. Don't wait. Don't go looking for praise and don't go looking for acceptance. Accept yourself. Love yourself. Be there for yourself. Be your own biggest cheerleader. Be your own biggest supporter. Don't look for anybody else to do. You do it first. My grandfather said, he said this to me. He says this to me all the time. And it's something that stuck with me all my life. He said, if you don't live by the cheers, you will not die by the booze. And all that means is I don't let anybody else tell me. I don't let anybody else tell me. I don't go looking for praise. I don't go looking for the admiration because I never get too high and I never get too low. I don't care if you like me. I don't care if you don't, I don't care if you think I'm the greatest. I appreciate it, but it doesn't make me love myself any more or any less. I'm gonna love me regardless, and you should love you regardless. You should, no matter what anybody else says, no matter what they say about you, what they don't say about you, no matter how they feel about, love you first. Love you first. Men, women, love you first. People will come and go. The people that are meant to be there in your life will be there. The people that are not meant to be there will not be. But love you first. Love you first. That's as simple as I can make it for you. Love you first. I thank you all for watching. I hope that you were blessed. I hope that you got something out of it. I hope that you'll join me back here next Tuesday for more Dad Can We Talk. I love you all. Continue to be blessed. Peace.